Every city has its own stories. Some are loud, declared with unabashed pride, while others are whispered in hushed tones, moving from one person to another like a gentle breeze. But then, there are stories like Walter's and Melina's, stories that quietly etch themselves into the corners of our hearts, where they remain long after the final words have been spoken. It's a story of a stern, aging man and a cheery, resilient waitress, a story of their unusual bond formed over the counter of a local restaurant, Luby's. Melina Salazar, the vivacious waitress, was known for her unwavering commitment to her job. Her smile was an endearing beacon that welcomed everyone who stepped into Luby's. To her, each customer was a unique story, deserving of her attention and care. Among these stories was Walter, a man whose name would become intertwined with hers in the most unexpected way. Now, Walter wasn't the easiest of customers. To be frank, he was what one might diplomatically call particular. He insisted on his food being served scorching hot, a detail that often caused waiters and waitresses to shirk away from his table. Walter's expectations were demanding, but his disposition was even more challenging. He was curt, often perceived as rude, and his impatient demeanor left many staff members wanting to avoid him. However, despite his gruff exterior, Melina saw something in Walter that others didn't. In him, she saw a person who was a part of her responsibility, a customer to be served, respected, and cared for. And so, she decided to attend to Walter. Years turned into routine. The sun would rise, and the customers would shuffle in. Among them, there would be Walter, sitting in his usual spot, waiting for his blisteringly hot meal. And Melina would serve him, her kindness a steady counter to his grouchy attitude. This unique dance of theirs lasted for 7 long years. But then, one day, Walter didn't show up. Days turned into weeks. The restaurant's doors opened and closed, but there was no sign of Walter. His absence became a tangible presence, a quiet, haunting echo that filled the spaces where his gruff voice used to be. Despite his difficult demeanor, Walter had become a part of Melina's world, a constant that she hadn't realized she'd miss. When days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, a deep concern started to grip Melina's heart. She wondered, where was Walter? Had he moved? Was he unwell? The questions buzzed in her mind like an unending stream. After all, Walter wasn't just another customer. He was a part of her life, a pillar in the structure of her routine, and his sudden disappearance had left her unsettled. The answers to her questions came in an unexpected form one day as she glanced over the obituaries in a local newspaper. Her heart sank as she read Walter's name in the somber columns. The reality was stark and unforgiving. Walter had passed away. The man she had been serving every day for 7 years had left this world. The news was like a punch to her gut, leaving her to grapple with a grief she had not expected to feel. Yet, as much as the news of Walter's death affected her, life had to go on. Melina, despite the pang of loss she felt every time she glanced at Walter's now vacant table, chose to carry on. She continued to serve her customers, her smile as warm as ever, her spirit as resilient. But as she was soon to find out, Walter's story in her life was far from over. As months went by, Melina continued to cherish the memory of Walter. His gruff voice, his peculiar demands, his silence filled with untold stories, all were etched in her mind. Every day, she showed up at the restaurant, carrying with her the kindness that had come to define her. But then, just as life seemed to settle back into its routine, something happened that threw her world off its axis. One day, while she was in the middle of her shift, she was told she had a visitor. Puzzled, she walked up to see who it was. The man standing in front of her introduced himself as Walter's lawyer. Confusion turned into a deep curiosity. Why would Walter's lawyer want to meet her? The reason, as it turned out, was nothing short of astonishing. Walter had left her something in his will. The old man, who had rarely spoken much, had left her a gift, a token of appreciation. Walter had acknowledged her kindness and the way she had treated him, and to honor that, he had left her a part of his inheritance. The news hit Melina like a thunderbolt. Walter's lawyer explained that Walter had always admired Melina's patience and unwavering cheerfulness. In his eyes, she wasn't just the waitress who served his meals, but a human being who showed him kindness despite his gruff exterior. To show his appreciation, Walter had decided to leave her a $50,000 tip in his precious car, a 2000 Buick. A lifetime of service acknowledged in one grand gesture. The reality took its time to sink in. Was she dreaming? This was a man who was infamous for his gruff demeanor, the man who was more of a challenge than a pleasure to serve. Yet, he had seen her for who she was. He had seen her kindness, her patience, her unwavering dedication to her job, and he had chosen to appreciate it in a way she could have never imagined. Walter's gesture was a testament to Melina's character. It was an affirmation that even in the most thankless of jobs, kindness could sow the seeds of miraculous rewards. It taught her that her job was more than just serving meals, it was about acknowledging the humanity in every individual she served. Walter's death had initially brought a sadness she didn't know she could feel for a customer. But now, his memory was associated with a feeling of gratitude and an invaluable lesson. The grumpy old man had taught her that love and appreciation often come from the most unexpected quarters. He had shown her that every act of kindness, no matter how small, leaves an impact. In the face of this unexpected windfall, Melina was at a loss for words. Should she cry or laugh? The fact that Walter had appreciated her in such a grand way was beyond her comprehension. The gruff exterior he had maintained throughout his life had hidden a man of deep gratitude and appreciation. This revelation was a surprise that left her with mixed emotions. This was nothing less than a Christmas miracle to her. Despite the initial shock, Melina felt an immense sense of pride. She had, unknowingly, touched the life of a man who seemed almost untouchable. Walter had been a mystery to her. An old man with a grumpy exterior and very little to say. She had served him day in, day out, never expecting anything in return. But now, she realized that all those years, all those meals, all those words exchanged had meant something to Walter. They had meant so much that he had felt compelled to leave her an inheritance. His gift was a testament to her character, to her kindness, to her patience. It was a reminder to her that every individual she served was a human being with feelings, with a story, with a life outside the restaurant. Her job was not merely about serving food, it was about serving people. And this realization was a life-changing one. Walter's unexpected gift marked a new beginning for Melina. She could now afford things she had only dreamed of before. She could live a life of comfort and ease, thanks to Walter's generosity. But more than the monetary benefits, what moved her the most was the fact that her service, her kindness had been appreciated. This unexpected turn of events reminded her of an important life lesson, that kindness always pays off. Walter, who had been a constant part of her life for 7 long years, had proven that. He was no longer the grumpy old man who was just another customer. He was a reminder that every person has a story, and every story deserves to be heard. He was a reminder that her job as a waitress was more than just a means to earn a living. It was a platform where she could touch lives, make a difference. Every customer, every meal served, every thank you exchanged was a testament to the fact that kindness, patience, and dedication never go unnoticed. While some may appreciate it in words, others, like Walter, choose grand gestures. But at the end of the day, what matters is the impact you leave on people's lives. Walter's gift was not just a tip or a car, it was a lesson. A lesson that would guide Melina throughout her life, a lesson that she would share with others, a lesson that kindness, no matter how small, can have a huge impact. As Melina looked at Walter's gift, a single thought occupied her mind: she had indeed made the old man happy. And in doing so, she had carved a place for herself in his heart, his will, and his story. The magnitude of the gesture was overwhelming, but it came with a sense of pride and a renewed sense of purpose. She understood that her kindness had been seen, appreciated, and rewarded. Walter's act of kindness had a profound impact not only on Melina's life but also on the perception of those around her. It made everyone realize that every act of kindness, no matter how small or insignificant it might seem, has the potential to create ripples. This story is a reminder that the grumpiest of customers are humans too, seeking love, kindness, and attention. It's a reminder that even in the seemingly thankless jobs, there exists a possibility for profound connections and life-changing experiences. So, the next time you come across a grumpy customer, remember Melina's story. Be patient, be kind, and serve with a smile. Because who knows, your act of kindness might be the ray of sunshine in someone's cloudy day. And maybe, just maybe, like Walter, they might leave you with more than just a tip, but a life-altering surprise. In the end, kindness always wins, love always finds a way to express itself, and life, as Melina found out, has a beautiful way of surprising us when we least expect it. Walter's story may have ended with his passing, but his legacy continues to live on through Melina, his car, his gift, and the life-changing tip that served as a reminder of the impact a simple act of kindness can have.